Hey y'all, it's Anime Cameron. Today I'm going to be reading the third episode of Kouya no Kotobuki Hikoutai, and let's go. Now, in this episode, I gotta give props. I'd say, in my eyes, this is the best episode of the series for a few reasons now. The previous episodes were fun, they had nice action, but here's the thing what made this episode special. Any illusions of plot armor was semi-destroyed in this episode because in the previous episodes we really never saw any of the main crew's ships get like any scratch or hits from enemy fire. And I like how in this episode you actually see Emma when she's in the fighter plane. Her plane gets attacked and all that. But here's the thing. It takes some damage. But she, for the most part, she manages to land it just enough so that it isn't a big crash and relatively unharmed. And I feel like that got rid of at least a good amount of plot armor for the characters because it shows that they're not invincible and that at any moment's notice, even though they're highly skilled, their fighter planes could get struck just through sheer bad luck. So I kind of like that about this episode. It increased the degree of danger. So that's a plus. And then aside from that, I like how this episode gave off some characterization towards some of its other characters like Emma and Madam. Because it was nice to see the Madam when these townspeople were asking for help and they didn't have enough money. I like how Madam thought of a solution where the townspeople can help. And if they do that, then Madam could lower the price. And that was a pretty sweet scene right there. Showing off that Emma, the big Madam has a compassionate heart and she'll find ways to try to help out so that she doesn't leave a town that really needs help in danger, just as long as they have something reasonable to pay. So that was also a sweet scene right there. And there was also a sweet scenes to some of them that had Emma where she was saying stuff like, if you don't do much about the situation, the pirates would just come back and ask for more with like fire in her eyes. And then when she got pissed at the mayor for being indecisive was also an interesting scene too, I gotta say. It showed off her good range of her emotions. So from a character standpoint, it did pretty well on the characterizing Emma and the Madam and then the mayor too for the most part. And it even had a nice little character arc for the mayor in this episode where it showed him kind of cowardly, wanting to ask the townspeople's opinions before making a decision, and then near the end of the episode it kind of completes it when he decides to make decisions on his own and he tries to take the raid in and he tries to attack the pirates that are attacking the town, even though it fails and it wasn't successful and they captured the raid because the leader of the pirates was a fucking ballsy ass motherfucker. At the very least, the mayor made an impression and he tried his best, even in the line of danger. And I like how Emma went from not respecting him much to actually having a great amount of respect for putting himself at risk like that, the mayor. So that was also another nice element about this episode, his own character arc within the span of a single episode. So that was another cool thing about this episode. And that's why I felt it was competently done from the character standpoint. And I thought it was competently done from the story standpoint. Aside from this episode finally showing off that our main cast is invincible because one of their fighter jets got hit and it was in bad shape. I also like how this episode, from a story perspective, it hasn't gone in boring or dull at all because it makes things up by having these townspeople ask for help. So it was nice to finally get a fight scene that wasn't over fucking desert, but it was also through towns and desert. And it was nice to see the townspeople participate where at the beginning you see them kind of struggle, but then near the end they participate, like when Madam's crew lures them towards these gun turrets and then they destroy multiple fighter planes. That scene was pretty cool. So it was a nice factor too for this episode that the townspeople were doing their best and all that. And then the little end result when they're like, well, we didn't take care of the pirates organization, these group of pirates. I like how they mentioned that they're going to do their best to like try to train their people up and all that. Showing off that, at the very least, even though... Oh, and here's another thing I really liked about this episode. this is the first episode where our main crew doesn't succeed straight from the first episode. That was pretty nice. How this is the first time they actually legitimately lose a fight somewhat, which was a nice change of pace for this anime, because usually it's just win, win, win for the crew. And I like how they finally take a loss for once, so that was nice. And I like how it's going to build up to the next episode pretty well too. So I like that too. Shows off that this anime is willing to go to unique lengths at times. And I like how it already decides to do that just from the third episode. So that was another cool thing about this episode. And then from the animation standpoint and art standpoint, this episode is actually better because it actually drew some of the Madam's crew hand-drawn. And I was thinking, man, they're actually fucking beautiful looking, like the hand-drawn drawings. Why can't they just do that for all the human characters and just have the fighter planes CG? That just boggles the mind. But at the very least, the animators gave us that treat from the start. And simultaneously, the CG animation actually looked pretty great this episode too, on the standards of episodes 1 and 2. Because the red fighter planes were fucking good looking. The writing was great looking too. It looked unique. And our main crew's fighter planes were still great looking too. So I kind of liked all these elements. CG was still strong. And I'd say due to the hand-drawn main cast at the beginning of the first minute of the episode, it's going to get extra brownie points for me because it makes the animation overall in this episode better than the previous 2 episodes. So I kind of like that, how it's actually trending up the animation level instead of trending down like I've seen in a few shows this season. So I like how this anime started out strong animation-wise, and it's slightly getting stronger each episode. So that's cool. And so that's why I believe it succeeds from the animation art department. And then aside from that, the sound was pretty nice too, I gotta say. It worked out pretty well. And the voice cast did all their jobs amazingly. Really made this episode immersive. And I gotta rate this episode a strong 8 out of 10. Honestly, this episode was great, and I cannot wait for more. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment on your thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more reviews and reactions, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe for more, guys and gals. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.